An African tribe's warriors swiftly respond when a perilous cyclops attacks their village. Despite their skills, they can't subdue it, prompting them to seek aid from a legendary monster hunter gearing up for battle. The story's roots trace back to Jack, a teenage troublemaker always angry and prone to violence. Once a happy boy, his life took a tragic turn during a camping trip where a troll attacked, leaving him the lone survivor. Now in his 20s, Jack struggles with anger issues, attempting to improve by working as a plumber, attending night classes, and seeking counseling. However, his explosive rants hinder progress. Late for school, Jack, a habitual tardy student, attracts little surprise from Professor Crowley. Eve scolds him for missing class, while Joan offers notes and flirts with Eve. As Crowley demonstrates sodium's explosive reaction with water, Eve reprimands Jack. After class, Crowley calls him over, seeking plumbing help for his new house. Jack arrives at Crowley's place, encountering his dog, Waldo. Attempting repairs, Jack accidentally gets hit by a valve, leading to the discovery of a mysterious glowing substance in the basement. Struggling with his van, Jack's tantrum is interrupted when the engine finally starts. Crowley, asleep at his desk, wakes up to Waldo barking at a mysterious smoke emanating from the ground. Inhaling the smoke, Crowley's eyes turn black, and he runs outside awkwardly. The next day, he wakes up in the garden, unaware of his actions. Digging reveals a broken pipe and a mysterious box containing a human skeleton with a beating black heart inside. At the hardware store, Jack shocks the clerk by revealing the valve's location, and Howard promises to share the cursed house story the next day. Meanwhile, Crowley wakes up in his office with a burp, unknowingly influenced by the mysterious heart he swallowed. Relentlessly plagued by an insatiable hunger and an uncontrollable urge to scratch his chest, Jack embarks on a journey to satisfy his cravings. Upon investigating the contents of his fridge, he discovers an unusual preference for animal products, finding solace in the consumption of ham and milk. Meanwhile, in the academic realm, Jack's punctuality contrasts starkly with Professor Crowley's disheveled state, who arrives late to class appearing like a complete mess. Crowley's appearance is marked by dirty clothes, incessant burping, and constant chest scratching, creating a bizarre atmosphere in the classroom. As one student inquires about his well-being, Crowley dismissively responds with a laugh, admitting to feeling a little unwell. However, the situation takes a turn for the surreal, as Crowley, facing the blackboard, begins writing nonsensical gibberish, inciting laughter among the students. The laughter abruptly transforms into gasps as Crowley proceeds to vomit all over the board, signaling the end of the class for the day. Outside the classroom, Joan, a fellow student, seizes the opportunity to flirt with Eve, Jack's girlfriend. Yet when Jack intervenes, tensions rise, and a swift altercation unfolds. In a fit of irritation, Jack delivers a forceful blow to Joan's throat, inadvertently setting the stage for a turbulent ride home with Eve. Meanwhile, Professor Crowley heads home with a bucket of fried chicken, unable to curb his voracious appetite. His loyal dog, Waldo, senses something amiss and barks in protest, yet Crowley remains indifferent, driven by an uncontrollable desire for sustenance. As night descends, Crowley's inexplicable hunger intensifies. A peculiar bump on his shirt signals an impending transformation, and a tentacle emerges from his body. In a frantic struggle, Crowley grapples with the appendage, ultimately resorting to scissors to sever its connection. The bizarre sequence of events continues as Crowley, now compelled by an insatiable appetite, chases after Waldo, intending to devour him. In a parallel narrative, Jack grapples with deep-seated issues, contemplating a move to another country as a means to escape his problems. However, his counselor, Silverstein, insists on delving into Jack's family tragedy, pointing out that running away won't resolve his internal conflicts. Jack's reluctance to revisit the past is rooted in the trauma of witnessing a monster during a camping trip and subsequently feeling guilty for running away. Silverstein asserts that this guilt is the core of Jack's anger. Amidst this psychological exploration, Jack seeks out Howard, the local hardware store clerk, to procure a new valve. Howard, upon learning of Jack's whereabouts, is overcome with terror. After fortifying himself with a strong drink, he unravels the unsettling history of the cursed house. Howard's childhood in the dwelling, shared with his uncle Emmett, involved a black heart from Japan that emitted an ominous legend. Accidentally breaking the glass case containing the heart led to a series of horrifying events, with Emmett transforming into a monstrous being, constantly hungry and ultimately devouring their dog. Howard, in an act of self-defense, used a rifle to end Emmett's life, burying him in the backyard with the haunting sound of the still-beating heart lingering in his ears. Howard's gruesome tale leaves Jack astounded, but with an air of indifference, he departs after paying for the valve. As the narrative shifts back to the academic setting, Jack attempts to reconcile with Eve, sparking an argument that concludes with a swift and unexpected breakup. In the aftermath, Crowley, seemingly consumed by his monstrous cravings, exhibits disoriented behavior, prompting concerns among the students. In a chaotic turn of events, Crowley's grotesque transformation unfolds, with tentacles emerging from his back and capturing unsuspecting students. Jack, Eve, and another student manage to barricade themselves in a classroom, narrowly escaping the tentacles. However, the grotesque spectacle continues, with Crowley transforming students into monsters. Jack, grappling with the escalating horror, secures the door with cables, while Eve advocates for leaving and Joan, now transformed into a monster, bursts into the room. Eve escapes, but another student falls victim to the monstrous Joan, leaving the fate of the remaining survivors hanging in the balance. The black heart, beating ominously, reveals itself within Crowley's aberrant form, casting an eerie shadow over the impending struggle for survival. In a desperate attempt to save Eve from the clutches of the monstrous Joan, Jack intervenes with a stool, managing to grab Eve and escape. As they navigate the school corridors, they encounter another formidable monster blocking their way. The janitor, initially hesitant, eventually opens the doors, but the delayed response allows the pursuing monster to catch up, resulting in a gruesome demise for the janitor. Fleeing to Jack's van, the couple faces additional challenges when the van struggles to start, exacerbating tensions. The radio's eerie repetition of the same song that played during Jack's family tragedy triggers traumatic flashbacks, causing him to abruptly stop the van. Overwhelmed by the past, Jack confronts his anger, asking Eve to leave the van before he embarks on a mission to confront the monsters at the school. Armed with his plumber tools, Jack re-enters the school, determined to rectify the mistakes of his past. In the corridors, he encounters two transformed students, engaged in a fierce struggle over the janitor's body. Jack, facing an uneven battle, manages to eliminate one by striking her with his pipe. He then confronts the male student, employing a combination of punches and a lethal tool stab to subdue him. Meanwhile, Crowley succumbs to hunger, feeding on one of the students. Jack, progressing through the school, crosses paths with Joan, leading to a harrowing chase. Employing improvised projectiles, Jack defends himself against Joan's relentless pursuit, culminating in a confrontation where Jack resorts to headbutting and bludgeoning to defeat his adversary. As Jack advances, he encounters Crowley in a classroom, engrossed in the creation of more monsters. Utilizing a fire axe, Jack attempts to free the captured students by severing Crowley's tentacles. However, Crowley retaliates, launching a counterattack, and a newly transformed student joins the fray. In a dramatic turn of events, Jack recalls a lesson from a previous class involving sodium and seizes the opportunity to use it against Crowley. The explosive reaction decapitates Crowley, yet the beating heart maintains control, capturing Jack once more. Undeterred, Jack strategically removes the tentacle, retrieves his axe, and launches a final assault on the heart. In a victorious moment, Jack triumphs over Crowley, releasing the captured students. As the tentacles dissipate, the remaining students flee, and Jack, transformed by the adventure, celebrates by kissing the final girl. This transformative experience prompts Jack to embrace his newfound calling as a monster hunter. He embarks on a journey that takes him to the forest to confront the troll that claimed his family, seeking closure. Subsequently, Jack embarks on a global quest, battling monsters worldwide. Now, in Africa, he stands ready to face a formidable Cyclops and protect the village from impending danger. The adventure has not only changed Jack's destiny, but has also ignited a sense of purpose in him as he dedicates himself to the noble cause of hunting monsters.